Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Mysteries from Beyond the Other Dominion. I'm your host, Dr. Franklin Ruehl. Now, to investigate William Shakespeare's works. Roll tape.
To ask if William Shakespeare actually penned his famous works. But first, the trivia question of the day. Let me extricate here from its paper prison. The question, William Shakespeare died at what age? Multiple choice, very simple. Was it 32, 42, 52, 62, 72, 82, or 92? The only prize for the correct answer is one pat on the back that you'll have to administer to yourself. If you want $1 million, call Meredith Vieira. But please, please do not call us. We don't have any operators to take your calls, and if we did, we still could not afford prizes. I'll take a sip of water and be back momentarily with the correct answer. Time, and again, at what age did William Shakespeare die? Was it 32, 42, 52, 62, 72, 82, or 92? Is that your final answer, 82? No. He died at age just 52. Now, there are many questions concerning Shaq, as we call him around here, concerning the authorship of his many plays and sonnets. First of all, critics say that he only had the equivalent of a grammar school education. He did not have the erudition to write those many plays and sonnets. They also point out that he never left England, yet many of his plays are set in Italy. They point out that the plays show a great deal of knowledge about legality and also about how courts operated. And he never was at court. He never had any legal education. Also, he had a day job. He had to manage plays. When did he have time to write these long, involved works? They say by candlelight in taverns, but it would have been an arduous process. These are enormous works. They also point out that many of his works seem to show traces of other authors, as though maybe those other authors had actually written the plays. Well, that's a double-edged sword, because it is possible that he simply borrowed heavily from other works. Indeed, an analysis of every play he's written shows that there was a precedent. So possibly not other authors writing the plays, but Shakespeare, let's say, borrowing heavily. I won't say plagiarizing, but borrowing liberally from the works of others. Now, there are other candidates. This is called the authorship question. One is Sir Francis Bacon, and the Baconians claim that he was the true author of these plays, but was afraid of political repercussions, so he let Shakespeare take credit. And he had a great legal training. However, after seeing that the first few plays got Shakespeare nothing but acclaim, you'd think he would have started taking credit for these works. Another group, called the Oxfordians, support Edward de Vere, the 17th Lord of Oxford, claiming he had the time to write these plays and the scholarship. However, there's a problem with de Vere. He died in 1604 before three of the major Shakespearean plays were written, namely Macbeth, Antony and Cleopatra, and The Tempest. So he looks doubtful. And then the third group are the Marlovians, who claim Christopher Marlowe wrote the plays of Shakespeare. Of course, he's best known for the tragedy of Dr. Faustus. He supposedly was killed in 1593 in a barroom brawl. His supporters say that he faked his death because he had been a spy for Queen Elizabeth and was afraid he'd be facing the Star Chamber and perhaps beheading in the Tower of London. So he faked his death and fled to Italy and sent his plays back to England so Shakespeare could produce them. However, there's a major problem. There weren't any express services, no email, no fax. That would have been very arduous, especially because those plays would have required tremendous rewriting. Now, he might have been hiding out at the manor of an aristocrat in England and never went down to Italy. We simply don't know. But the fact is that there's no evidence whatsoever that he did not die in 1593. In fact, there is no smoking gun concerning Shakespeare. For example, no one questioned Shakespeare's authorship for 240 years after his death. It wasn't until 1857 when a woman in America, Delia Bacon, wrote a book claiming that Bacon was the author. Now, she apparently was not related to Bacon and actually was some sort of wacko. She went over to England and tried to break into Shakespeare's tomb and was institutionalized for the remainder of her life. I should point out Mark Twain also challenged Shakespeare's scholarship. But there is no smoking gun. Nobody wrote, for example, in his last will and testament that he was the actual Shakespeare. No one during Shakespeare's time claimed that he wasn't the author. And I point out, as an author myself, someone's taken credit for one of my articles, such as in the tabloids, I get very angry. Who is going to let someone go down in history as the greatest playwright in history and not at some point demand proper credit? It's possible, but not likely. So until someone comes up with that smoking gun, for the remainder of this show, we're going to place Shaq's portrait right here in honor. As far as I'm concerned, he's still the original and true author of the Shakespearean works. Yes. Any objections? Okay, good.
No, of course not.
No.
Now, until next time, may the power of the cosmos and of Shaq be with you. Yes, yes, yes.